Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have another Bridezilla / Groomzilla Reddit story for you. This one's pretty long, so without further ado, let's get into the tea. So grab your popcorn and let's dive in. You're not alone. Last October, I was a maid of honor in one of my best friend's over 10 years wedding. During the last 5 months before, I witnessed her transform into a complete and total monster. For context, I have been a bridesmaid in 4 weddings, including this one, and most were very lovely experiences that brought me closer to the bride. So this felt like a markedly different experience. Here are only some of the deets of this absolute doozy of horrible entitled bridezilla behavior. 4 months prior to the wedding, texted me saying I was not a real Christian because of some political views I had. Get over it. And she's your best friend of 10 years. Really? Selected $400 bridesmaid dresses pre-alterations of note. When she asked me to be maid of honor, we had an open discussion where I said that I was on a budget. I am in medical school, plus was a bridesmaid in another wedding a few months before hers. She subsidized some of the dress, which I was super grateful for, but then continued to hold it over my head. Of course she did. Demanded we order very specific $90 shoes 3 months pre-wedding so they would be broken in. At the time, my financial aid was delayed, and she proceeded to nag me about them despite me telling her I could not afford them yet at the time. Then she shamed me in front of other bridesmaids at her dress fitting for not buying them yet. Still 3 months out, and said, "Fine, I'll just order them for you as long as you pay me back within 15 days. When I told her I still could not afford them and would buy them as soon as I could, she ignored me. I had to borrow money from my sister to pay her back. 10 years of friendship, you would think, you would help your friend out, but demanded us all to take off 2 work days for her 4-day bachelorette and then 3 days off for her wedding week. One of those days was dedicated to taking us to a super fancy nail salon where we were told what to get, specific color, brand for $70, mani and pedis, and then expected to pay without discussing this requirement beforehand. When I originally said I would not be able to fly in until Friday due to my med school rotation schedule, she left me a passive aggressive note in our Excel spreadsheet saying you need to change your flight Wednesday, which I stupidly proceeded to do to keep peace. This required an enormously long, lengthy process of negotiating with my med school for 3 days off of a rotation, which is unheard of. At her bachelorette that I planned completely, and she never thanked me for, of course not. Barged in on me crying in the bathroom, finally was breaking down from how unreasonable she had been, and my grandpa had just been hospitalized with COVID, and she screamed at me. It was horrible and ended with her saying, "F you, woman in the arena 12, which no one in my life has ever said to me. She proceeded to not make eye contact with me for the whole weekend and made several nasty passive-aggressive remarks about me and my family in front of everyone. Meanwhile, I was busy ushering her and her friends around to all the expensive batch activities that she had demanded. Wrote me several of the most incredible, nasty, evil emails I have ever read after the Bachelorette, despite me having reached out with an incredibly kind message stating, "I love you so much and want to be there for you and husband, but we need to talk about and work through everything that has happened because I am really hurt." Literally everyone in my life kept telling me to drop out of the wedding of this incredibly spoiled, entitled person. At the time, I was still in shock and didn't want to ruin a decade-long friendship by not showing up. I guess I always expected a real apology, but of course that never came. Instead, I got a 2 sentence long thank you note 6 months after the wedding, and we haven't talked since. This changed me, and I no longer accept disrespectful behavior from friends in my life. To fellow maids of honor who have slowly been realizing they are working with a bridezilla, I would run. Wish I had listened to people around me to drop out for my own dignity. I know wedding planning is stressful, but absolutely no one is entitled to treat their friends like poo. Thanks for the vent, Maid of Despair. Honestly, great message at the end. To all bridesmaids, maid of honors who are working with entitled, rude, disrespectful brides. I mean, that was a 10-year friendship that they don't even speak no more. That bride treated her like complete and utter BS. Like shit. And that is like shocking and uncalled for. So I'm glad that you don't talk to her anymore, bestie, and you deserve so much better. And I want to say thank you for everything that you did do for her, despite how she was treating you. And I'm glad that you will no longer put up with disrespect or settle for anyone treating you like crap, because you deserve way better and you seem like a great person. And I'm so sorry that she was like that to you. A friend I've known for over 25 years was engaged to a guy in 4 months. No big deal, it happens. No one was supportive, but I kept an open mind and helped her find a balance so she would enjoy her engagement. I got engaged a couple months before her wedding, which she never asked me to be a part of. Okay. And as my fiance's grandmother was nearing the end, with whom he is very close, closer than his mom, he asked me to come to England with him to visit her and surprise her. We would be gone for 3 weeks, both which fell during her bachelorette. She hadn't picked out a date before I told her I was going, but she suddenly decided it had to be when I was gone, and her wedding day, my fiance's grandmother's birthday. Well, I told her the situation, and instead of being understanding, she pouted and whined and said I was ruining her wedding. What? I told her I was really sorry I wouldn't be able to make it, but I would make it up to her after the wedding, for sure. She then threw an epic tantrum and told me whatever and hung up. I figured I'd let her cool off and I'd be in touch a couple weeks later. Before I got back in touch with her, my best friends, whom disliked the bride but used to be friends with her ages ago, told me they all got these handwritten letters inviting them to the wedding. I did not get one. Again, what? I then saw her for who she was and was just grateful I dodged a bullet with that friendship. 25 years down the drain for one day. My other friends went to her bachelorette. She threw it in their town so they didn't have an excuse not to attend, and she didn't say a word the entire time to them. Best part, everyone disliked her wedding. Terrible food, terrible DJ, and disorganization like crazy. I never wished ill upon anyone, but damn, I am amused. Phew. You did dodge a bullet. And 25 years down the drain, just like the last one, 10 years, friendship, and then become a bride, and then you are just a total monster. And then it sounds like this one didn't have a date planned, didn't have a bachelorette party planned, and then you don't even invite your friend of 25 years to your wedding. Like, you tell her you're engaged, but she's not even a part of it. Makes no sense. And then act like that and throw a tantrum. Like, it would be one thing if you picked a bachelorette date and everything and then she ended up leaving on it. But no, you hadn't even picked a date or anything. So you're not in the wrong. I'm glad you dodged a bullet. I'm sorry, that's 25 years down the drain, wasted, but you're better off. So those are the 2 stories of Bridezillas. I hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe for some more Bridezilla stories.